Hello everyone. So welcome to the theme 7 and the session number 46. That is post-war national scenario. So let's recap what we have done earlier. Thoda sa timeline mein we'll invest some time and then we'll move forward with today's lectures. So if I talk about from 1935, है ना? So 1935 Government of India Act came, right? We have discussed two stages of debates, first stage of debate and the second stage of debate. The second stage of debate that was there, whether to accept the offices or not, whether to become an executive or not. Till before that, the debate was whether to become the part of the parliament or not. Then parliament. Okay, fine. Then the election happened and the Congress ministries were formed, right? Then what happened? World War II happened. And Lord Linthgow announced that India is a party to the war without considering the opinions of the Indians. Then Congress ministries resigned. Then again, it became the matter of the debate. We have discussed debate between Gandhi, Nehru, and Subhash. Three different views. What to do at this juncture? World War II is announced. World War II is against the fascism, Nazism, militarism of the Japan, of the British is fighting against these three. British and French and other powers are fighting against these Axis powers. The Gandhi, Nehru, and the Subhash have different views of responding. This was the debate. Then Congress laid down some conditions in front of the British. Those conditions were obviously not accepted. And then what British have given? The August offer. We have seen that why August offer was given, because initially the allied powers started getting some, the Britain and the French started getting beaten up by the Hitler. Then August offer was not accepted. The old offer, dominion status and all these things. Nothing concrete. Then what happened? After the August offer, individual satyagraha. Just to showcase that we have our, we are not responding. It is not because of our weakness, but we are considering your situation. We are giving you time also. And we have chosen a way to respond to your work, whatever you are doing, the hypocrisy that you are showing. Then they talked about, sorry. Then what happened? Cripps mission. And the failure of the Cripps mission led to Quit India movement. So this is what we have studied till lecture number 44. Then parallelly, we have talked about the INA agitations. We talked about INA agitations, what is happening in these INA agitations. We have read the story of the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose INA agitation, and we have read till the end of the World War II. Today, hence, we are going to talk about the post-World War II scenario. At this juncture, what can be seen, that is the two-state strand of the national upsurge. On the one hand, what is happening? The big political parties are there. They are still trying to negotiate with the British government and among themselves. What should be the constitutional future of India? How should India look like in the future? This is what is being discussed. On the other hand, because of such militancy created by the Quit India movement, a lot of spontaneity and a lot of anarchy being created by the Quit India movement. And that anarchy and that spontaneity which has come post the Quit India movement, that has to be channelized. And that was channelized in a lot of local level issues, local mutinies, local parallel governments we have studied in the Quit India movement. So different places, different mutinies happened. That happened in the mutinies. I should not say mutinies, because mutiny is a term which is used when the soldiers revolt. It's not a mutiny, but small struggles, small rebellions, small movements that happened. So we have to see these. So first is, very quickly, so first strand was government, Congress, and the Muslim League negotiating. Communal violence can be seen, because now Muslim League, we will discuss in the next session the communalism in India. Next session will be on the cabinet mission, and after that we'll discuss the communalism in India. There we'll talk about the communalism, and then Muslim League, two nation theory, and all these things. So Muslim League, we have discussed in 1937 election, they have lost very badly, even in the Muslim majority province. In the Muslim majority province, when they have lost, then they knew that we have to go to the next extent, or we have to become more radical, more propaganda, more communal to get our, to polarize the votes. Polarization will happen when and only when you will say polarize things. Polarization of the vote, minority appeasement, all these words you must be reading in your newspaper on the day-to-day basis. Then on the second strand, that is sporadic, localized, extremely militant, united mass actions by worker, peasant, state people. For example, INA release movement. We have discussed that this INA POW, prisoners of war, POW. Those INA soldiers, those who have been captured after the Battle of Kohima, they will be now here. They will be brought to India and the British will court martial them. British will say, you are our soldiers. You deserted us and you joined the rebel party. You joined the Japanese. And now you will be court martialed and we will hang you also. We will put charges on you. We'll court martial you. We'll humiliate you. But these INA soldiers were Indian. Now the Indians were responding, and this is the moment happened. The Indians responding against what is British will do to these INA soldiers. Understood, I believe. So INA soldiers, Indians, those who have earlier part of the British Indian Army, then deserted as British Indian Army versus the Japanese. They become POWs of Japanese. These POWs later on became the part of the INA, Indian National Army, Mohan Singh and then Subhash Chandra Bose. And then they'll be captured again by the British and they will become the British POWs. Then some revolt will happen in the Royal Indian Navy, some small movement, Tribhaga movement, Worli movement, all these things happen. We'll discuss. Now, parallelly, what we can see, the change in the government's attitude again. First, what was the change and then why was the change? What was the change? A lot of leaders were captured post-Quit India movement. We have seen Gandhi and everyone put into the jail before this movement was launched. So these people were jailed. Okay. Then the government in June 1945, ban on the Congress lifted, Congress leader were released. Wavell plan was failed. We have discussed the Wavell plan, and your constitutional deadlock was there. There was change in guard in the Britain as well. That is, the Labour Party has now coming to power. When the Labour Party is in the power, that is, we have seen the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. Throughout the discussion, we are discussing the what is happening in the England also. So the Labour Party, which is in the England, which is favoring India, is now into the government. Now the prospect seems ki nahi bhai, we have to give independence to the India. So Clement Attlee is pro-India, for example. Relative to the conservatives. It doesn't mean pro-India means nahi, Indians are good and all. No, just relative to the conservatives. Then August 1945, election to the Central and the Provincial Assembly announced. In September 1945, announcement was made that the Constituent Assembly will be made after the election. So elections will be done, and after the election, the Constituent Assembly will be created. Very interesting historical fact is also there that Winston Churchill, who was the leader in the times of the World War II, lost the election. Very surprising to the people. Very, very surprising. People thought that this man has won us the war. Initially failure were there with respect to Hitler, but finally they won the war. Recently, last year, a movie also released, I think 1 or 2 years back. And the protagonist got the Oscar Academy Award for the Best Actor Award also. He played Winston Churchill. So Winston Churchill led the country in the darkest of the times. He is a national hero in the Britain. But he lost the election, next election. Very interesting. चलो इसको आप पढ़िएगा. Just try to read on the Google why Winston Churchill lost in 1945 election. Very interesting read you will find on Google. चलो. So government attitude change. We have discussed how it was changed by people. Congress was released and all. Why it changed? First, US and USSR are not the superpowers. Both wanted India's freedom. Why? USA wanted India's freedom because USA wanted to have India as a market. As far as the India will remain the colony of the Britain, they will not have the good access as compared to India as an independent and a weak country. Independent colonial country is weak country. USA has the opportunity to get into India as a market, big market, more many people. USSR from 1917 itself, it was anti-imperialism. It supported the freedom. It supported the socialist cause. And India's socialist leaders such as Nehru, Subhash, these leaders were dominant leaders. So that is why these leaders favored the India's freedom. You should understand the each and every logic of it. The new Labour government led by Clement Attlee was sympathetic to India's cause. The wave of the socialist radical government throughout the Europe. Sorry. So throughout the Europe, this socialist radical government is there. There is an anti-imperialist wave in the Southeast Asia. Anti-imperialist wave in the Southeast Asia. The other reasons were also seen because the British soldiers after the war, after World War II, they were very tired. Earlier, they were fighting the Japanese, the Italians, and the Germans. Now they have to fight again the Indians. बहुत tired hai. We cannot handle it. ठीक है, give them the freedom. British economy shattered. British economy, which was a superpower till 1914, now the economy of the Britain has shattered. Whether it was the bombs from the Germany or whether it was its own efforts in the war, economy got shattered. They fear another Congress revolt because they have seen what Quit India movement has done, parallel governments and everything. So it's better to give them the independence slowly or open more constitutional pathways to channelize this energy rather than get to new civil disobedience movement. Then elections were inevitable. Why? Because the last election happened in 1934-35. They thought that a long time has passed. We need to get the election done. So hence the elections were announced, and elections were held in the winter of the 1945-46. When the elections were announced, it gives a good opportunity for the political party to make their election manifesto. Now the election manifesto will be very critical here. The election manifesto which will be created, it will comprise what? The focus area. The focus area will be the INA agitations. Right? The focus area will be here the INA agitations. That these INA POWs, the British government should not hang them, should give them the clemency, should do the pardoning of these. They should not be publicly tried. Some clemency should be given to them. These are the election manifesto of the political parties. The election campaign and the INA agitation we'll discuss later was also a good rallying point of all the political parties. All the political parties. These political parties combined together. They combined together, and they all the major political parties, just like the Simon Commission protest, they all came together against the INA agitation. This is called INA agitation. INA agitation means agitation against the trial of these POWs. Chaliye. Next is the election campaign for the nationalist aims. इसको भी देख लेते हैं. So election campaigns were a way to mobilize people against the British. It was not for the votes. It was for mobilization of the people. The focus area was very quickly state repression in the 1945 Quit India upsurge. What was the state repression? How the British have repressed the Indians, the Indian will, how they have repressed it. The mass pressure was against the INA trials. It was said to be edge of a volcano. People were very, very agitated. Imagine Indian soldiers, those who are fighting for Indian independence, they are being tried in India for fighting for Indian independence. Very, very patriotic, and a lot of such feelings were there. Indian army was used overseas to restore French and Dutch colonial rule in Vietnam and Indonesia, and there was search of an anti-imperialist feeling. Right? Then we can see the Congress support for the INA prisoners as well. At the first post-war Congress session in the September 1945 at Bombay, strong resolution was adopted declaring Congress support for INA cause. The defense of the INA prisoners, because the trial has to take place. Trial means court case. So there will be a defense of the INA prisoners, and there will be some British attorney to give argument against it. And the defense was organized by Bhulabhai Desai, Jawaharlal Nehru, the lawyers in the Congress, Tej Bahadur Sapru, Katzu, and all this, Asif Ali. INA Relief and Inquiry Committee distributed small amount of food and helped arrange employment for the affected. Fund collection were organized. INA agitation was said to be a landmark on many counts. For example, the pitch and the intensity was unprecedented. And the British also committed a big issue. What they have done? In a way, the British have united all the parties. British have conducted the public trial of three people, and three people belonging to different community. Prem Singh Sahgal of Hindu, Shah Nawaz Khan Muslim, and Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon of Sikh. So when you are publicly trying Hindu emotions, Muslim emotions, and Sikh emotions, so in a way you are uniting all the political parties, Congress, Muslim League, Unionist Party, and other parties. INA week was announced, INA day 12 November, INA week 15 to 11 November 1945, to show solidarity with the INA prisoners and all these things. The INA agitation also spread to many areas. For example, all the different social groups, political parties, for example, Congress, Muslim League, Communist, Unionist, Akali, Justice Party, RSS, Hindu Mahasabha, everyone. From Hindu communal to Muslim communal, all the spectrum covered. Communist. The nerve center, Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, and also the distant places such as Baluchistan, Coorg, Assam, there also, very far away places, this agitation spread. Fund collections were there. Film stars and a lot of public celebrities came out. Film stars, municipal committee, Indian living abroad, everyone contributed. So an agitation was the very important event which happened. Now, all over the India, what is the atmosphere of INA agitation? Then one major thing happened again. The emotions is INA agitation is happening. And one event happened, that is the RIN revolt. So on 21st November 1945, INA trials. 11th February, Calcutta, 7-year sentence to INA officer Rashid Ali. And 18th February, you can see Bombay strike by the Royal Indian Navy ratings. This is the mutiny. Small level mutiny. 3-stage pattern can be observed. First of all, let us understand what is this mutiny was. Now, these mutiny means these people who are in the part of the Royal Indian Navy, part of the Navy, part of the military. These were given, they have their local grievances also. They have their local grievances, such as racial discrimination, unpalatable food, abuse, all these. These are their local grievance. They're not given proper food, discriminated by the British officials. And a nationwide context, they're watching Quit India movement, they're watching INA trial happening. One of the rating means a person has written the Quit India on the ship. Likh diya, he's written it. He was taken into custody, right? And this led to the strike by the 1100 Royal Indian Navy ratings of HMS Talwar have taken the strike. They have holded the flag of Congress, Muslim League, and Communist on their ships. And then with this happened the demonstration effect. So it started in the Bombay and then spread to Karachi and other places, many places. A lot of places this iron revolt happened, Royal Indian Navy revolt. Now, first time, the significance of this revolt died that first time since 1857, 1946. See how many years? 89 years. After 89 years, a mutiny has happened. Such cold mutiny has happened. Right? Before that, the army remained more or less a very important pillar of the British dominance in India. And many people say that this INA agitations and this RIN revolt were the major factor why the British have left India. In fact, a lot of people argue, go out to the extent saying it was not because of the national leaders such as Gandhi, Nehru, and all this. It was not happening. They were in the negotiating phase. But when the pillar of the British Empire, I've already discussed you, the pillar of the British Empire, police, civil services, this army, these are the pillars. When they collapsed, when they have shown a mutiny, now the British know their days are done. Right? Let's first discuss the three-stage pattern. So first, a local level, let's say mutiny or strike happened. Then second stage, the other people join in with that. And then they all part of India, this local level becomes a national level news. Students join in and other people join in, peasants join in, other people show sympathy and solidarity, they do the fund collection. So when a group defies authority and repressed, such as the rating in the Royal Indian Navy, city people join in to support these people because they have their subjective grievances ready, whatever the Britishers have done or what the wartime misery have caused. And then people in the other parts of the country express solidarity and the sympathy. Then coming back to this RIN revolt, the strikes happened in the military establishment, including the Air Force. And finally, Patel and the Jinnah has persuaded to surrender in the February 23. कि भाई surrender कर दो, we will seek your grievance. When our government will be made, we will do all the justice to you. Let us first take the independence. The three upsurges which happen, upsurges means these upsurges. These were Calcutta one, this again in Calcutta. You can see the dates different. Third upsurge because of this rating in Bombay. Then if we evaluate it, it shows the fearless action of the masses, expression of the militancy, armed forces revolted, liberating effect on the people. RIN revolt marked the end of the British rule. Impact, the government announced the trial will be limited to. Now, it was the impact of these things. What was the announcement? That earlier they have decided that INA trial to be conducted in public. They've said, no. It will limited to the INA members accused of the murder or the brutal treatment of the British soldiers. We will not try everyone first. Imprisonment sentence against the first batch remitted. The imprisonment which was given, okay, ठीक है, इनको finish करो. The soldiers were drawn from Indochina and Indonesia, for which the protests were there, for which the electoral campaign was there. Then sending parliamentary delegation to India in the form of the cabinet mission. So they say another thing we will do, we will send a cabinet mission ki bhai, let's give one more chance for the constitutional journey. Okay? The limitations were there, obvious limitations were there. Only one militant sections participated, only militant sections, because it was more of a militant was there. It was short-lived and confined to urban centers. INA agitation, whereas reached till villages, we have seen. So it is comparing the upsurges with respect to the RIN revolt with respect to INA agitations. The communal unity which was seen, for example, whether you can see flags of all the three communist Congress and the Muslim League, but it was more organizational. The leaders were showing this communal unity, but people were not communally united. Communal riots were happening parallelly. British infrastructure remained intact. In fact, the battalion, Maratha battalion itself, they rounded up the ratings and restored. Means, yes, there was a dent in the British establishment, but more or less the British infrastructure, military infrastructure remained intact. Many people argue that what the Congress were doing, why the Congress asked them to surrender. What is the view of the Congress? Why the Congress is indifferent to the revolutionary situation? And they say because of these two conditions. First, because the Congress cannot, if they go on the path of the revolution and they leave their own path, old path of, let's say, Gandhi's strategy of STS or negotiations, the things will get out of control. The situation will not be in the control of the leaders. And second, they require disciplined armed force. Imagine what is happening in Myanmar right now. As we are discussing this, military coup has happened. When your armed force are not disciplined, for example, what happened in Pakistan, what happened in a lot of African countries, the armies have taken over, the coup has happened of the civilian. Has any coup happened in India in the last? It is in fact one of the achievements of Indian democracy that our civilian administration has always had an upper hand over the armed establishment. Armed forces have never taken over the India. Coup has never happened in India. You know? So it was said to be one of the futuristic Congress is was on the right track. That disciplined armed force is required in the free India, and hence we need to stop them right now. ठीक है, we will show the sympathy and solidarity with them, but we will not express, but we will not say, or we will not give sanction to what they had done. So they also claim the Congress had not surrendered to power play, different path to independence would have emerged. Then Congress did not officially support these upsurges because of the tactics and timings. Negotiation has been integral part of the Congress strategy. We have discussed that. Gandhi opinion mutiny was badly advised. If they have mutinied for India's freedom, they would be doubly wrong. If they have any grievance, they should wait for the guidance of the leaders. Gandhi ka ye view tha. Then the last section of today, that is the what was the election results. Election results, Muslim League. Now it got reversed. Muslim League, which got very less votes in the 1937 election among the Muslims, they got 86% of the Muslim votes. They won very established, they established themselves as the dominant party among the Muslims, which was not there in the 1937 election. That has shown that the communalism has become entrenched into the psyche. That up to there is no chance of getting things done. Communalism is highly entrenched. Congress got 91% of the non-Muslim votes. ठीक, 57 out of the 102 seats in the Central Assembly were there. Provincial elections happened. In provincial elections, major they got majority except in Bengal, Sindh, Punjab, and even in the NWFP and Assam area claimed for Pakistan. So Congress also got good seats in NWFP, and ये interesting है. So in the current Pakistan area, this is the NWFP area. We have seen Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. There Congress got the majority. So Muslim League did not like it actually. Okay? That Congress still got the majority in the area claimed for the Pakistan. That means कि अभी communalism और करना है. We have to get more radical. We need to give more propaganda, and more polarization needs to be done. So communal holocaust is waiting for us. We will see in the next session. Performance of the Congress, 91%, these many seats in the Central Assembly, and whatever happened, we have discussed in the provincial assemblies as well. Muslim League performance, we have also seen. Take significance of the election. The election witnessed communal voting in the contrast to strong anti-British unity shown in the various upsurges due to separate electorates and the limited franchising. For the province, less than 10% of the population could vote, and for the Central Assembly, less than 1% of the population was eligible. So franchisee was very limited. The franchisee was among the elites, and these elites are the leaders who are the leaders of these communal things. So ये तो होना ही था. So that's all for today's session. What we have discussed, we have finished till the election results. In the next session, we'll talk about what is happening. First, the cabinet mission is entering, and parallelly, after the cabinet mission, one interim government will be formed. We'll discuss that. In the next session after it, we'll discuss about the communalism and the parallel development of the communalism in India. Okay? So with this, we finish today's session. Very quickly, we'll finish everything. So थोड़ा छोटे छोटे ले रहे हैं because this portion is relatively very important. थोड़ा समझ में भी it is a relatively tough to understand because a lot of events are happening at a very brisk pace. So timelines are important, understanding is important, and let's not rush through this period, because once you are through with this, then you don't have to again give time to understanding of this. You just to revise it again. You don't have to give time for the learning of it again. Okay? So with this, we finish today's session. We'll see you in the next class. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.